Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Paradigm Paradox. Continuing, now we're in Kamui's route, full on, so continuing his route, and still finding it very. I really do enjoy the fact that we have no clue that I didn't know. I mean, like, I kind of, I guess, I assumed or just figured that, like, yes, our boyfriends turn into magical girls, that we were going to figure that out from the very beginning. But I like the fact that we're going to find this out at the fucking end, if ever. I love the fact that she's clueless about it. I like it. I think it adds. Like, it's just, it makes it a little more amusing, especially, like, Sena grabbing our hand and holding our hand and us having a moment, and then her being all embarrassed and running off, and everyone being like, and we're like, huh, well, anyway. And everyone's like, think Kamui might be into Spacey. What the fuck? Sena, don't you dare act like that in front. She's gonna figure. And, like, because I'm sure they don't, like, it, like, you would think you're part of the secret gang, but you being able to transform into a magical girl as a girl is different than them, and they're probably like, yeah, I don't really want to tell anyone about who we really are and whatnot, because that's got to be awkward. Again, you know what I mean? If all of a sudden you were a magical boy, unless you're a dude and you're a magical girl, it's got to be awkward. You're like, this is awkward, you know? So you probably wouldn't want to tell any other person that doesn't have the same affliction, basically, you know? So, but I just kind of love that they just keep it hidden, and she's a little like, huh, anyway. Also, like, you know, Sena holding her hand, she's just like, oh, okay, we're talking. Not even like, why is this girl holding my hand? Totally clueless. Everyone else is like, Kamui's fallen for her, and they, oh shit. And like, but we would never get that because she's not, obviously she doesn't know Kamui is Sena. And isn't thinking Sena's flirting with her, but everyone else is like, we know what's happening. And I love it so much. It's so funny. Anyway, the next day, Sena's foresight report broadcast was before homeroom. Good morning, everyone. These are the results of foresight from morning until noon. There'll be no... Pardon me. Just a moment, please. I apologize for that. There'll be no vectors this morning. You can rest assured as you go about your day. Her cough's worse than yesterday. She said it wasn't a cold, but it sure sounds like one. I promised yesterday I wouldn't check on her, but that was only if she didn't overextend herself. It should be okay if I observe from afar, right? Oh. Do we find out now? I don't know how long the routes are. Like, the whole game takes, like, I think Otome Kitten said, what, like 45 or 35 or 40 hours? I think. Let me scroll and see if I can find it. Scroll down to the end. That system, and I don't want to see, like, trailer, overall thoughts. 30 to 40 hours unlocking every possible ending. So each route is about 3 hours. So they're very short. So we could be finding out who Kamui is and, like, whatever. And, like, obviously, we just started his route in the last part. So we could have another hour or two. And obviously, I ramble, so it takes longer. If each route takes you 3 hours. And I don't know if she means, like, from common route to or starting Kamui's route. So it's probably going to take... We're probably not... At the end of this part, we might be halfway through. You know what I mean? But I'm just wondering, like, oh my god, are we already going to figure out that Kamui is Sena? Ooh. Anyway. I waited for the noon report and headed to the broadcast room. Uh-oh, we're going to say... I think she's going to figure it out now. Many other students had gathered in front of the room by the time I arrived. Whoa, there's a lot of people here. Is everyone a fan of Sena? How are they gonna get... They should have been doing it in the secret room, not the broadcast room. Hey, show some respect. It's Miss Sena. Alright. Looks like Miss Sena's popular with the girls, too. Can you imagine these dudes? Oh, that's funnier. That's funny. The girls are like, oh my god, I kind of like her. She's cool. I want to be friends with her. And these guys are like, yeah, she's hot. I want to date her. And then you find out it's Kamui. Oh, that's fun. That's funnier. She seems like a high-class lady on the broadcast. But I wonder what she's like usually. A dude. That's what she's like usually. That's funny. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Wouldn't it be awesome if she's one of those people who acts super mean, but actually super loves us? Looks like what I feared would happen did. She's so popular, it'll be difficult to get close with this many people around. I knew you'd be here. I turned around to the familiar voice and saw Rios standing behind me. You knew it was him from the shadow. Am I remembering wrong, or did you not say you'd let us handle things? Sorry. So why are you here? Though I think I already know the answer. I thought that he'd tell me to just leave, but it seemed like he was going to hear me out. That being the case, I figured it couldn't hurt to tell him. She was coughing a lot during the morning broadcast, so I was worried she'd strained her voice. Would it be okay if I saw her for just a little bit after the next broadcast? She isn't here. What? I inadvertently yelled, and Rio gave an irritated sigh. They probably said she's in the broadcast room, but she's really not. He cast his glance sideways as a signal, and I moved to the edge of the hall where there weren't many people. As you can see, a lot of students are here. The broadcast will happen at the meeting place from now on. There'll be a lot of hullabaloo if people catch sight of her, so it's been decided she won't appear in front of people for a while. Oh, he means the command center. It's restricted access, and I would be able to meet Sena there for sure. Thank you! I thank Tomitsuka? Is that Rio's last name? Why are we calling him by his last name suddenly? We've always been calling him Rio. But anyway, and hurried to the chem lab. Sena's broadcast had just finished when I arrived at the prep room. I'm glad I made it in time. I won't worry about missing her since she'll be coming from the command center. No, she won't! You should see the big stupid grin on my face. You like Krabby Patties, don't you, Squidward? That's my face right now, because I'm expecting Kamui to fucking walk out. I opened the hidden door leading to the command center and heard footsteps coming from inside. It must be Sena and Mr. Kuramori. I was soon proven right, and Sena and Mr. Kuramori walked into view. Oh, oh man. Damn. Oh, notice how depressed I feel now. Squidward doesn't like Krabby Patties yet. It was way easier in the broadcast room. This takes a ton of time. Sorry for the trouble, Sena, but I think this is for the best. They didn't seem to notice me as they were walking. What do I do? I'm basically eavesdropping right now. Oh my god! Are we gonna get magical girl transformation out? I waffled over whether I should make my presence known and say something. But I get what you mean, Misaki. If I transform in the command center, there's no chance the others will see before and after. See the before and after, if you catch my drift. I froze upon hearing how different Sena sounded. Did she just call him Misaki? Is this how Sena speaks to the commander when they're alone? And she sounds so different. Maybe that's how she really is. Do you think? Like, it's like putting on I do a voice. Okay, seriously. And then now he's just talking in his normal voice. I completely missed my opportunity to say something, so I just stuck with eavesdropping. Uh-oh. Well, I'm assuming they still have a female voice actor to do it, but I am speaking properly and I do not use contractions, but every once in a while we'll slip into contractions. I don't know if those are typos or if that's supposed to be like, I am trying to do an accent so people do not understand my voice, and then now I'm just talking normal with Misaki because, we bros. You know what I mean? See, now watch how you're talking. If you're not more careful, you might slip up when you least expect it. See? Okay. And give me a break. I just finished the broadcast. Speaking so proper all the time is hard work. Anyway, can I change back now? Sena put her hand over her chest and looked down to undo her transformation. Phew. Much better. I do get to put on my fucking Squidward likes Krabby Patty face. You like Krabby Patties, don't you, Squidward? My face hurts. I love this. We gotta be toward the end of his route then, okay? In front of me stood none other than Kamui. There was no mistaking him. Wait, what? I blinked several times, but the person before me didn't change. My eyes weren't deceiving me. This was real. But that means Sana was Kamui all along? The surprise was enough to knock me off balance, and I stumbled just enough for them to see me in the corner of the passage. Mr. Kuramori saw me just now, didn't he? Mr. Kuramori stopped in his tracks with a chagrined look on his face. Hey, Misaki? Why'd you stop? Oh, why'd you stop? What's wrong? Oh, did you forget something in the command center again? Sometimes your mind is like a sieve, you know? Kamui's attention was on Mr. Kuramori, so he didn't notice me. He then fully turned to face Mr. Kuramori, which put his back to me. Kamui, behind you. Shh, dude, don't call me that. You gotta be careful or you might just slip up too. Kamui teased Mr. Kuramori, blissfully unaware of the situation. You're the one who said you don't want people that think you play favorites, so you usually call me... Oh, Saibara, right. I was like, for all of it, we've never called him by his last name, so I don't park. You usually call me Saibara. You've been pretty careful until now, but it's better to be safe than sorry. I don't know if I'll be able to cover for you. You know, you're absolutely right, but we've got an emergency situation that needs to be handled immediately. Sorry, I'm not following you. I said, look behind you! Mr. Kuramori seized Kamui's face with both hands and turned his head toward me. That's a CG I want. With him just having a stupid look on his face, with little chipmunk cheeks. Whoa, what gives? Oh. Huh? And then I experienced the most awkward silence of my life. This is good, I love it. Hey. You saw it, didn't you? Yeah. There was no way I could hide it, so I just nodded. I see. Kamui nodded back to me stiffly, then covered his face with his hands. He tilted his head toward the ceiling and sighed. I can visually see this happening. You gotta be kidding me. This makes me look so uncool. I can't believe this is happening. Seriously now. I was hesitant to say anything, but Mr. Kuramori just patted Kamui on the shoulder. I know how you feel, but let's just do something about this first, okay? Like what? Explain yourself? Good luck, I know you can do it! Hey, Misaki, get back here! Leaving Kamui to fend for himself, Mr. Kuramori ran up the steps leading to the chem lab. I love him. Soon his footsteps faded. Eventually, Kamui gave me an awkward smile. It looks like you caught me at a bad time. I'm sure you have a lot of questions, but let's just start with the whole Sana thing. This is what's going on. He probably thought it would be quicker to show it, so he took out his cell phone and then... My charm's the strap on my phone ring. Kamui had vanished right before my eyes, and Sana appeared in his place. You really are Sana. That is correct. But isn't Sana a girl? So your gender changes when you transform? I knew you'd be curious about that. Worry not, I shall explain. No point in standing around here. Let's get to the prep room. Sure. Also, you like shrink by a foot? Alrighty, let me explain. Although I can't really claim to know all the ins and outs of it either. Basically, using my powers turns me into a woman. So, Sana's a kind of side effect. But that's different from the cost of using your special abilities? Seems that way. When I'm like this, I can't use foresight or my psychokinesis. Ah, so that's how it is. Then, are Kaori and the others the same way? You mean, are they really guys? Yeah, I guess that'd be your next question. I actually don't know about the others and their side effects. So you don't know who the others are, really? I figured they all knew. Oh, they don't know the others. Oh, that's even more interesting. I figured they knew each other. No, they have to know. The way they were all like, it seemed like they knew each other, and they knew, that they know who the other ones are. yeah, I guess that'd be... I actually don't know about others and their side effects. But it feels like... But you know what I mean? It seemed like they all kind of knew about stuff, like, because otherwise they'd be like, okay, whatever. Like, you would feel awkward, like, oh shit, I'm gonna run away, like, whatever, because I'm really a guy that transforms into a girl. But you might be assuming the other girls are really girls. But the way they all kind of act is like they kind of know. They all know. So, but him, the way he just said that was like he doesn't really know who they are. But I feel like he does. So that could have just been worded weird. I don't know. So anyway, we're not all super close and we don't really talk outside of missions. Which I guess is easier depending on your perspective. Kamui sounded sad about that, despite trying to give a positive spin. Oh. Okay. Oh, but Kaori and Haruka awakened to their powers before Mocha and me, so they knew each other prior to the blooms being formed. And just between you and me, they're supposedly childhood friends, so they probably know each other really well. Okay, so it's like, they know each other, but you still know who they are. Seriously? It's not like they told me, but that's the feeling I get when I see them together. You can tell by how they talk to each other, and we saw, we saw the two of them. Also, when we first got introduced to our future boyfriends, we saw them together and they're friends. They probably act that way without realizing it. You should just keep pretending like you don't know. Yeah, okay. By the way, do the other members not know your real identity, Kamui? Kamui paused briefly, but then he quickly smiled with a nod. And that's right. And the only ones who know I'm Sana are Misaki, Ryo, and you. Okay. See, that doesn't track to me. Like, that they don't know who each other. Well, okay. They might not know that Kamui is Sana, but I feel like they probably know that the other magical girls are probably dudes. Because there's just something about when Misaki, because now I can't think of his last name, whatever, anyway, Commander Bro, right, when he was like, no falling in love, no dating, whatever, and we're all like, yeah, okay, whatever. He obviously knows all of their identities. And he wants to keep everything secret, so okay, that makes sense coming from him. But that whole scene with Sana holding our hand on the last part, right, and then running off, and then Misaki being like, that better be fucking all it is, and everyone else looking like, oh, Jesus! Okay, they don't know that Kamui is Sana, but that is like but that almost felt like they did know. Like, they're like, oh, motherfucker, what are you doing? But I guess they're not assuming. They know that I'm a real girl that transforms into a magical girl. But I would assume, because they're all they probably assume the others are. And like he said, I'm gonna guess Haruka and Kaori know they know who each other is, because, so, and so they know, so they're being like, oh, dude, bro, you're in love with her and you're gonna give everything away if you fall in love with her in your magical girl form. So, I mean, I guess that's what it is, but like that scene just made it seem like they all kind of know who everybody is. Like, they know Kamui is Sana, and they're like, bro, dude, stop. But I guess it's more like they're probably, like, under the assumption, like, he's a dude. Like, dude, you can't fall in love with this girl, because you're gonna ruin everything, because she thinks you're a magical girl, and does not know that you are really a dude. You know what I mean? So I guess that's the extent of what they know? They just don't... It's weird, because they make it seem like they all know each other, but I guess they just know, or assume, haha, I'm a dude that turns into a magical girl. I figure everybody else is too. Anyway. It's technically classified information, so I'd appreciate it if you acted like you didn't know in front of the others. Of course, my lips are sealed. And looked Kamui directly in the eyes to try to put his mind at ease. He looked greatly relieved, and his expression softened. Great, thanks for that. I'm sorry for dragging you all the way out here. You wanted to talk to Misaki, right? Want me to get him? Oh, no, actually, I was going to the command center to see Sena. Sena? Do we have a meeting that I forgot about? No, I was just worried. You coughed a lot during this morning's report, so I went to the broadcast room to see if you were okay, and Rio told me where to find you. Oh, right, this morning. Sorry if it was annoying. Kamui looked truly sorry when he said that. It hit me then that he really was Sena. You don't have to apologize. But aren't you mad? No, I just want you to take better care of yourself. Oh, okay. I went to see Sena because I was worried she'd caught a cold. Even if she hadn't, her voice was hoarse, so I was going to give her this. I pulled out cough drops out of my uniform pocket that I brought at the student store earlier. Cough drops. Huh. Kamui didn't take it, but rather just stared blankly at the container. Maybe I've been too nosy. It was awkward just holding it out, so I went to put it back in my pocket, but before I could, Kamui let out a big exhale. That's surprising. You came to give me cough drops after just listening to that broadcast? I know it's not much. Oh, wait, do you not like cough drops? I'll just keep it then. Hold on, I do want it, really. Kamui grasped my hand firmly right as I was about to put it back. It's not that I don't want it. Seriously, do. I was just surprised is all. I didn't think anyone cared about me that much. Look at his sweet little face. I'm actually really happy. Kamui seemed to savor those words as he took the cough drops from my hand. Because, everybody flirts with him and he's nice to everyone, so, but the girls probably are just like, oh my god, I like the attention I get. So, we're like, oh, I brought you cough drops because I care about you. And he's like, oh. But we're also, it's not like we're doing it to try to impress him like a lot of the other girls do in the school. We brought it for Sena. We had no idea until this moment that they're the same person. We care about her as a person and a friend. And he's like, oh, and that's part of who he is. You know? And I know they're more for Sena than me. Don't worry, I got it. But still, it makes me happy. Everything from his voice to his expression to his sparkling eyes exuded happiness. I, on the other hand, felt a tad awkward, so I tried to play it off with a joke. Sena's already hugely popular, but if they found out she's really you, you might become inundated with boxes of those things. No way, that'd never happen. Well, you get a lot of guys flirting with you now. Maybe someone would buy them for me if I asked. But then I know them, and I don't really like that. Huh? Is he joking? Kamui was always surrounded by admirers, so I figured he had to be kidding around. Kamui, there are plenty of girls who'd worry about you. That's a difference of opinion. Okay. Think about it like this. I'm never their number one. They like me, but they wouldn't be all that worried about me like you are now. He spoke with surprising ease, perhaps because he really felt they didn't care that much about him. I highly doubt that's true, though. I wanted to say as much, but I didn't know if I should pry into his personal matters. I remained quiet, unable to say anything more. Then, for some reason, Kamui held a cough drop out to me, sorry. Is something wrong? Would you feed one to me, since we're already here and all? Look at you, little whore. I must have misheard him. And since you're so kind, I think it'd help me get better if you fed it to me personally. We had a moment where you were a real human moment, and now you're like, you want to feed one to me? You little whore. I love you. You're funny. Okay, I definitely didn't mishear him. I'm sorry, but I don't really think that's how it works. Yeah, I guess it's a little confusing. But don't worry. I'll wait as long as you need to feel ready. What are you talking about? That's not the problem here. Guess you don't let others influence you so easily. How about if I turn on the waterworks? You do realize you're saying all this out loud, right? Please, you're the only person I can count on. And just think of it like you're doing me a favor. Pretty please? He's not listening at all. Kamui was in full-on flirt mode. He winked at me and clasped his hands together in a practiced way as if he'd done this pleading act before. It's funny because it's the only way he's doing his full-on flirt. It's the only way he knows how to flirt. He doesn't know, so I feel like in this situation it's a genuine flirt, but he doesn't know it's not over the top flirting. And he's like, I don't know how to genuinely flirt because I usually just over the top flirt and, like, you know what I mean? I don't think he knows how to chill flirt for realsies. He just knows how to over-the-top flirt. That's a bit much. All right, I'll do it. I feel like the game wants me to say, all right, I'll do it, but I feel like that's a bit much is the way she'd really act. You know what I mean? Like, that's a bit much. Like, tone it down. You know? I feel like that's real unique to her. All right, I'll do it. Yeah. I kind of knew that's where the game wanted me to do it. Like, to get points with him, but... All right, I'll do it. Really? I thought I'd do him a favor and agree, but Kamui was speechless at my response. Why is he so surprised? It was his idea. Oh. Were you just joking? No, well, maybe half joking? Half? I was just trying to say something shocking to make you forget what I said earlier. Earlier? Asking me to feed him a cough drop was a lot more shocking, so what he said didn't quite make sense to me. But I'm good if you're fine with it. Sorry for saying something so weird. Oh, like you're trying to do that, so I'd be like, oh, whatever, and forget that you were like, no, you're the only one who's really nice to me, because you opened up for a moment, so you had to cover it up. Is that what we're talking about, I guess? I was about to tell him it was okay, but then I had an epiphany. They like me, but they wouldn't be all that worried about me like you are now. I went quiet right after that, so maybe he was worried about me because of that? It's the same with Seina. Kamui is very perceptive and considerate of everyone around him, but tries not to let them know. With all that in mind, I took the cough drop container without hesitation. Just this once, okay? I said that more for myself and shook a cough drop out of the container. Oh, we're actually... Look at the little CG! Look at his little adorable thing. He's really cute in his CGs. They did a really good job with the CGs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, his sprite's fine. Like, he's got some cute sprites and stuff like that. But, like, his CGs are almost better. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, I can't wait to see the rest of them. Because, like, all the ones that you're like, wow, yeah, no, they're really cute. Like, Kamui isn't really my type. You know what I mean? Like, I like him, though, so far as a character. We're having a great time. But, like, sprite-wise, you're like, he's fine. He's still cute sometimes. And some of his sprites are better than others. You're like, that one's really cute. Or, like, whatever. When he smiles, when he does the Muppet smile without teeth, it's awkward. Because it's like, you have a Muppet mouth, you don't have teeth. It's bizarre. I wish they hadn't done that. Like, you know what I mean? Because you're like, don't do that. You look like a Muppet. But, like, you know, most of his sprites are fine. I'm not like, oh, he's so super cute. But I'm like, there's nothing wrong with him. I think he's, like, you know, some of them you're like, not my type. I don't really, like, he's cute. But, like, whatever. But he's so much more adorable in his frickin', like, CGs. Like, his CGs, he's so much cuter. Like, it's like a different, you're like, yes. You know, and I appreciate that. Because sometimes, sometimes games do CGs and you're like, sprites are better than the CGs. Or they're mixed. Like, some CGs are great and some are just okay. But I like the fact that, like, the sprites are good, the CGs are better. That's what I you know what I mean? I want the CGs to be amazing, and these ones are great. Like, he's always fucking adorable in them, so. Kamui, can you bend down a little bit? She still looks 12, but that's okay. Huh? I can't reach you. Gotcha. Okay, how's this? Good? His face is so close. Kamui's handsome face drew closer to mine, and I felt my heart flutter. Now, when she says his handsome face, like, yes, this, absolutely. Sometimes in a sprite form, I'm like, not my type. You know what I mean? What should I do? This has gotten real embarrassing all of a sudden. Spacey, do you need me to lean over more? No, it's all right. I ordered myself to stay calm as I popped the cough drop into Kamui's mouth. And in that moment, a look of genuine happiness crossed his face. This tastes amazing. I can feel it working already. It tastes the same as it always does, and I doubt it would work instantly. Though I wasn't being very friendly, Kamui kept on smiling. In fact, he looked even happier now. This was too weird. Kamui's so tall and handsome, but it feels like I'm feeding a squirrel. I'd say he looks adorable, but that would be a bit rude. You know, you seem to be enjoying this. You like feeding little woodland creatures too or something? I couldn't help but laugh at his thoughts as his thoughts mirrored my own. To be honest, I kind of thought of it like that. Looks like we're on the same wavelength. So you want to do it again? I'm happy to oblige. I said one time, didn't I? You can eat the rest yourself. You know what I mean? Like this one, this is not bad. There's nothing wrong, but I like him in his sprite and his CGs better. Oh, that's too bad. He was joking around, but there was something about his tone that sounded sad. Kamui, there are plenty of people who'd want to help you if you were in trouble. Just like how I did now. If only you were if only you'd ask, everyone would be happy. Oh, to help. So they cut that off, but would be happy to help. Surprise registered on Kamui's face for a brief moment, but then he smiled, per usual. You were about to tell me to be nicer, weren't you? I appreciate how honest you are with this kind of stuff. You were listening that closely? I stared at him blankly, and Kamui just laughed out loud. Like this, again, this sprite's not bad. This one's goofy, but I like it. Yeah, I was. It'd be nice if that were true, though. I was serious about what I said, but Kamui wasn't convinced. He brushed the comment aside. Kamui's nice and friendly with everyone, but when he smiles like that, it's like he's creating an emotional wall. That was a lot of background changing. That night, I decided to send an email to Uncle Yashima for the first time in a while. I wondered what I should write about, but all I could think of was Seina and Kamui. They're super different, both physically and personality-wise, but they got a lot in common. I mean, they're the same person, after all. Seina can be ill-tempered, and Kamui's way too flirtatious, but they're both genuinely kind. On the other hand, what Kamui said in the chem lab still echoed in my mind. I'm never their number one. They wouldn't be all that worried about me like you are now. All I did was give him some cough drops, but he seemed honestly thrilled. And then I noticed that when he smiles, it's like he's pushing others away. He shut me out, too. Neither Seina nor Kamui expect anything in return, so maybe it's overwhelming when someone's nice to them and they try to keep some distance? But then why would he say that no one would be that worried about him? Thinking back to what Kamui said, it was like he'd already given up. Like he'd made up his mind that no one would care. The more I think about it, the stranger it is. I decided to write about Kamui along with the other things that have been happening recently. I've started talking to this one person more recently, but how do I put it? It's not so easy to figure out what they're thinking. He told me I should try and find someone to be close with, but it's difficult to know what's going on in another person's head. The next morning, I started up my computer with a glimmer of hope in my chest. There's a message from Uncle Yashima. He replied quite quickly this time, too. I hadn't been keeping him updated since Lizzie passed away. He was probably worried about me. But notice that he didn't email you first? Like, hey, just checking in, make sure you're okay, kiddo. I opened Uncle Yashima's email, and as I expected, it was clear from his kind words that he'd been concerned about me. Relief washed over me as I read his message. I felt my worry dissipating little by little. Halfway through his email, he addressed what I wrote about Kamui. You're right that it's difficult to know what others are thinking. Even if someone appears to be open, they're still a complex individual. But that's also the reason why you want to understand them and what makes the process of getting to know someone so enjoyable. I'm sure you want to become closer with them, seeing as you're always thinking of them. Perhaps that was the case all along, but Uncle Yashima's words brought everything into focus. Right when I thought I'd become closer to Seina, I found out she was Kamui. Now we share that secret. And I thought we'd become even closer friends, but Kamui ended up pushing me away. That was really shocking and sad to me. When Uncle Yashima said it so directly, I realized that I did want to become closer with Kamui. I get it, so that's why I couldn't get Kamui out of my mind. I felt better having a clearer grasp of my feelings, but at the same time, I knew I had a long road ahead. Be it Seina or Kamui, I don't think it'll be easy to break down their emotional barriers, but like Uncle Yashima said, it's fun to get to know someone. I should just take things slow and steady. You say that, but his route's not that long, so we probably got like 2 more hours left of it. Maybe 3 max. When lunchtime rolled around, I went to the student store as usual and then out to the courtyard. Oh, Kamui's here, and he's surrounded by a bunch of girls again. They're pretty rowdy, aren't they? I couldn't hear what they were talking about, but I could see Kamui smiling broadly and nodding at whatever they were saying. Kamui looks a bit tired? He's not coughing, but I'm sure he's feeling fatigued from casting Foresight so much. Actually, isn't Santa's broadcast soon? He should probably be getting to the command center. He might have been looking for the right opportunity to extract himself, so I decided to lend a helping hand. Oh, that's right. That outfit you wanted finally came back in stock, Kamui. How about we go take a look on the way back from school today? Today? Let's see. We should all go shopping together. Don't tell me you can't today. Well, I'm actually pretty busy. Excuse me for interrupting. Huh? Spacey. Kamui, Mr. Kuromori was looking for you. I approached the group, and Kamui turned to me with a confused look. Misaki, I wonder what's up. I think he said something about being on duty. Oh, thanks, I'll get going then. Sorry, everyone, I'll catch you later. Kamui stood up nervously and took off toward the chem lab. I wonder if Kamui's okay. One of the girls mumbled that after he left. She sounded genuinely worried, and I found myself sticking around. Huh, he didn't eat any of his lunch. He's gonna be hungry in class this afternoon. Yeah, seriously, he's been forgetting things a lot lately. Maybe he's tired. He actually stood me up when we planned to go out. Well, that could have just been his way of saying he wasn't interested. And hey, we said we weren't going to go behind each other's backs like that. Kamui said he was fine, but he might be more fatigued than he thinks. My worry was such that I decided to wait in the chem lab prep room until Santa's broadcast finished. I should bring him a sandwich. You know what? I'm like, oh, let me go take that to the prep room. I brought you your favorite sandwich. Hello. The room was completely silent. I wonder if Kamui's in the command center. I'll just wait here then. Right as I was about to sit down, I sensed someone's presence. I looked up and saw... Kamui? Neither Mr. Kuromori nor Rio was around. Kamui was just sitting by himself in a chair, looking dazed. Maybe he's resting from casting Foresight. But it seems like he's out of it. A chill ran down my spine. Something felt off about Kamui, so I rushed over to him. Are you okay? Snap out of it! Ask if he's okay. I think, are you okay? Ooh, another save file. Stop biting my headset. Okay, so I think it's are you okay? Yes, are you okay? Kamui, are you okay? I put my hands on his shoulder and looked closely at his face. Bird, you're fine. Stop it. He looked back at me, but his eyes weren't focusing on anything. It's just the nail. Stop. You're being a brat. Kamui. I called out to him again, pleading. Then a glimmer of light returned to his eyes. Oh, Spacey? Sorry, I think I was out of it. Yeah, I'd say so. What happened? Like this, when he does this face, it's disturbing. The Muppet mouth. Like, they shouldn't have given them a Sprite with Muppet mouth. It's a little disturbing. You're like, no thanks. Nothing. Probably just started daydreaming after the broadcast ended. Missed out on lunch, too. Kamui tried to brush it off, but his face was pale. It was obvious he was overdoing it. You look pretty tired to me. Maybe the broadcast is too much for you. I appreciate you worrying about me, but I'm fine. It's not too much at all. As Kamui declared that, he gave me a soft yet fragile smile. I couldn't help thinking it resembled a flower bud falling off its stem. You're as stubborn as an ox, you know that? Anyone could see you're exhausted, yet you refuse to admit it. I was dead serious, but Kamui just burst out laughing. Stubborn? Haven't heard that in a while. My gramps used to yell at me because of that back in the day, though. This is no laughing matter. I know. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to joke about it. The music is like peppy fucking background music, though, for such a serious moment. I guess I am overextending myself a bit with the broadcast. I can tell. Okay, so then... But I can't stop now. Everyone feels more at ease because of Santa's broadcasts. They really look forward to them. People need my powers, and nothing makes me happier than being able to help. So I'll be fine. That doesn't make any sense, nor is it a valid reason to keep doing this to yourself. Ha! You really just speak your mind, don't you? How do I put it? Oh, I know. I can never do this for myself, but I can when it's for others. Kamui's smile was so innocent, I found I couldn't say much in response. Okay, so I've established that no one is forcing him to do this. It's all of his own accord. But I still thought he was taking a terrible risk. It almost felt like he could vanish at any second. Kamui... In the next moment, I said exactly what was on my mind. Is there anything I can do to help? A look of astonishment passed over his face, but then Kamui stood up from his chair with a grin. You mean it? Any help would be great. Let's see. Oh, could you use Augment to support me when I'm Sena? Boosting Foresight with Augment would be an even greater help to everyone. Pretty nifty idea, huh? Kamui looked to me for approval, but I was flabbergasted. As a member of the Blooms, of course I want to protect everyone in Theta, but what Kamui's suggesting is just self-sacrifice. Whoops, click that as I was... I don't want to think about it, but if he continues overusing his abilities... I'm not going to ask for anything excessive, of course. So, what do you say? I actually wanted to help you, Kamui, more than Sena. Me? Oh boy, I just said something weird, didn't I? I know you and Sena are the same person. How can I explain? It's more a question of feeling. I'm sorry, I know I just said something weird. I was going to ask him to forget it, but before I could, Kamui started laughing again. So you want to help me when I'm not Sena? I see. And that's good to hear. Kamui excitedly bent down and moved his lips right next to my ear. Then how about you feed me a cough drop like you did the other day? It's just the two of us again, after all. Well, seems like Kamui's back to his usual self. I felt relieved, but didn't want him to gain the upper hand, so I decided to go on the offensive. You can count on me. Cough drops, candy, you name it. Okay, I'm really saying weird stuff now, but I don't care as long as it cheers Kamui up. And this is how we fall in love. Oh, and he's like, No, you really agreed to it. Look at his face! You really agreed to it. And I'll keep my word. How bold of you. You sure are strange, but funny. For some reason, Kamui got a kick out of what I said and doubled over with laughter. And the girls I usually hang out with just blush and shriek with delight, but you don't do that. Yeah, I guess I don't. It didn't even cross my mind. I see. Well, I guess that's all there is to it if it didn't cross your mind. I nodded solemnly, and Kamui laughed again. I didn't think I said anything funny, but if I was able to make Kamui smile, that's fine by me. Never a dull moment with you, eh? Man, my stomach hurts from laughing so much. But I guess it's good stress relief, and I got an ab workout to boot. That's a good thing, right? Of course. Anyway, I'll happily accept any food you want to give me. Oh, and green tea too, please. All right. From that day on, it became my routine to go to the chem lab prep room and bring Kamui food after the broadcast finished. At first, I brought green tea and cough drops, as he requested. Oh, you're going back to class already? Wait, I know. Since you're here, how about we eat lunch together? Yeah. He was always kind of flirty with us, but now he's like, wait, don't leave. Unlike the courtyard, it's all empty and quiet here. You get to have me all to yourself. Pretty sweet deal, huh? Yeah, what a deal. Oh, looks like I've almost convinced you. Well, guess what? There's a bonus, too. We get to learn more about each other. Now that I think about it, the only thing I know you like is sandwiches. So, let's eat lunch together here, and you can tell me about yourself. Oh, he's so in love with us, it's adorable. And we're like, oh, okay, we're being friends. I was pleased to hear that Kamui wanted to get to know me like I wanted to get to know him, so I quickly agreed. From then on, we ate lunch together in the prep room, chatting the entire time. I managed to snag the last roast cutlet sandwich. Sells out especially fast on days they give out extra portions. I wonder if Kamui got one too. I pushed open the door to the prep room with excitement and heard Kamui talking. Yeah, I heard ya. Huh? What? I know. And besides, I was thinking of going there anyway. He's talking to someone on the phone. I was about to turn around and leave until Kamui noticed the open door and waved me over. Is it really okay for me to be here? Sure, you can take that as my word. Uh-huh. What? Well, that's kind of sudden. All right already, I'll ask, but don't expect much. Yeah, okay. Look, I gotta go. Lunchtime will be over at this rate. I tried not to eavesdrop, but I could tell whoever Kamui was talking to was someone close to him. Although what he said was a bit harsh, his tone was much gentler than usual. Yep, got it. Take care. Oh, and don't just eat those... Yatsuhashi? Yatsuhashi, okay? Sweet crackers aren't vegetables. You gotta get your greens in, too. Come on, you want them to find something wrong with you when you go for a checkup again? Yeah, talk to you later. Kamui hung up and let out a huge sigh. Younger brother or his grandpa? He never stops talking. Oh, sorry for leaving you hanging. Come on over so we can eat. Yeah, it's either like an older person that because he doesn't know his grandpa, so it's somebody older that's in the hospital, or it's his younger sibling who's in the hospital or something. Sorry for interrupting your phone call. And don't worry about it. It was just Gramps. Okay. So it's the only person in his... Because he said something about a family member or somebody who wants to protect his life. It's probably his grandfather is the only person. So when you go for checkups, he's trying to take care of his old grandpa, keeping him safe. Your grandfather? By the way, are you free this weekend, Spacey? I am, but... Really? It's my lucky day. How about we go visit my Gramps together? Oh my god, you want to introduce me to your family already, and we're not even dating that I'm aware of. You want me to visit your grandfather? Yep, he's my dad's dad. He's always telling me I should bring my friends over. I haven't visited him in a while, so we decided to call. He always worries about me. Kamui shrugged like it was no big deal, but I could tell from his expression that deep down he was truly happy. He must really love his grandfather. I wonder what kind of a person he is. I tried to imagine what he might be like, but I couldn't. It was tough to picture stuff like that when I didn't have any grandparents of my own. So if you don't mind, would you come with me? It'd really be okay for me to go? Of course. Knowing Gramps, he'd be overjoyed that I brought a cute girl over. Santa's broadcast happens on weekends too, so we'd have to go sometime between noon and evening. That okay with you? Sure, I'm looking forward to it. Me too. Kamui nodded happily as if he were savoring the moment, which I guess was because he'd be seeing his grandfather for the first time in a while. No, you're adorable. He's savoring the moment, not because he's seeing his grandfather, because he's bringing you to see his grandfather. That's so sweet. Oh, sorry, bird, but Jesus. When the weekend arrived, Kamui and I decided to stop by the mall and pick up some gifts for his grandfather. Castella... Oh, that's me. Castella, Cream Puffs, Yokon. Your grandfather must really love sweets. Yeah, but he mostly likes Japanese sweets. He claims to hate any other kind, but I happen to know. And then whenever I buy him strawberry shortcake and put it in the fridge, it always vanishes into his stomach that night. Kamui suddenly started talking like he was telling a ghost story, making me shiver involuntarily. So what you're saying is, your grandfather really likes whipped cream. Kamui nods gravely, but then flashes me a broad grin. He thinks he's hiding it, but I think he just wants to seem dignified. Gramps likes to show off. But hey, you know what I noticed? You actually play along with my antics. Do I? I guess it's because the way you talk is so fun. You're cute when you're shy, too. I feel like the luckiest person here to be walking with such a cute girl. When in actuality, Kamui's the one grabbing all the attention every time he walks by a woman. But there were two women from earlier who kept turning around and saying, "Did you see that guy? He's so cute." Is there something on my face? Nope, totally clear. Anyway, you think you got enough? It's so funny because he just doesn't seem like the character that would have the flirty whore voice, but he's the flirty whore. But, you know. Oh, right. Yeah, I'm sure he won't be able to eat all this himself. Alright then, let's take these gifts and... Hold on. Let's swing by the department store before we head out. Which one? Next to where we got the Castella. Wasn't there something you wanted? Huh? How did you know? You walked slower when we passed the store, and I saw you peering through the door with a little twinkle in your eye. I only glanced in, but that glass kind of looked like a fishbowl was pretty cute. He saw me. Oh, it's so embarrassing. He noticed my interest and knew exactly what I'd been looking at. Like, that's perceptive and, like, good for him. So I figured out another thing you like. Those kinds of accessories or knickknacks, whatever they're called. Tchotchkes? Yeah, I do. I'd often go with Lizzie and... I tried to explain, but my throat started to burn, and my words got stuck. Tears pricked the back of my eyes, so I immediately looked down at the ground. I'm sorry, I think some dust got in my eye. It was an obvious ruse, but Kamui didn't say anything. I have to look back up. But my vision blurred again. It looked like my body wasn't going to listen to me. Isn't it funny how sad stuff can come back up when things have calmed down? What's the deal with that anyway? Because your heart never really gets over losing someone. I felt his big, warm hand touch my shoulder and as his gentle voice consoled me. You don't have to force yourself to talk. But if you want to let it all out, that's a different story. Do you have anyone you can talk to? Like maybe a family member? I don't. Huh. I don't have any family. I haven't since I was little. I didn't plan on telling Kamui any of this. I knew it would worry him, but I found that once the dam broke loose, I couldn't stop. I have a guardian who I call Uncle Yashima. He's the only one I could consider family. But he lives far away, so we only communicate via email. I've never met him in person. He refuses to send me any pictures of himself. He says he's too embarrassed, and he says he doesn't like the phone. Yeah, there's something about that's sus as fuck. You know what I mean? Like, why we just email, we have no pictures, we don't talk on the phone. There's something about that. Somebody else involved, probably find out in a later route, is the person that's been communicating with us or something, you know? I attempted to smile, to try and say I knew it was surprising, but my face twitched, morphing my expression into something strange. I'm sorry, that was insensitive of me. Oh, no, don't apologize. I shouldn't have bothered you, but you're just so easy to talk to. Really? I'm honored to hear you say so. Kamui, if it's alright with you, would you mind telling me about it? We can go somewhere else since it's kind of noisy here. Sure. He's going to buy us that fishbowl next time he's at the store. Kamui and I made our way to the residential district, and the hustle and bustle of the mall instantly vanished. I don't have any parents either. Really? I looked up at Kamui in surprise. He gave me a sad smile as our eyes met. And Gramps is the only relative I've got left. I lived with him until I got into the academy and moved into the dorms. He's the reason why I never felt lonely. I go back and visit him every so often. I had Lizzie, so I didn't feel lonely when I entered the academy either. My voice shook, though I was trying to keep my emotions at bay. Kamui probably noticed, but he just smiled gently at me and nodded. Lizzie must have been important to you. She was actually kind of like you in some ways. Oh, really? How so? She liked to make others smile. She always tried to make me happy. She loved her friends. Very much so, but though she was my best friend, I wasn't even able to celebrate her birthday. And in the end, I wasn't even able to save her. I've tried to rally and move on so that I can fulfill my duty with the Blooms. But sometimes it feels like I can't even stand up. Yeah. I couldn't protect Lizzie. She's gone because of me. So why am I still here? Why do I get to smile and be happy? I think about that all the time. That's called survivor's guilt, sweetie. She's not gone because of you. You know what I mean? I get it because you were in the superhero group protecting people, but it's not your fault that the evil people sent the vectors out and they attacked people. You told her to go home and she didn't listen. You know what I mean? Even though if she had tried to go home, she still could have been attacked, but that's still not your fault. You know what I mean? But this is the survivor's guilt and where you feel responsible because you're in a role where you should have been able to protect someone, but you couldn't. But again, it's still not your fault, Not unless you actually chucked her at a vector. You didn't, I never told anyone this because it would seem like I wanted pity, so I buried it deep in my heart and lied to myself to get by. Until today. But then it feels like I'm using Lizzie as an excuse, and that causes me to freeze up even more. When I said that, I realized I'd come to a standstill without even knowing it. Lizzie's shadow was no longer walking beside me. But when I turned around, I saw Kamui's shadow facing me. If Lizzie really is like me, And I'm sure she wants you to be happy, Spacey. Fury welled up inside me for a brief moment. Why? You wouldn't know anything about that. I knew I was just taking my anger out on Kamui, but I couldn't stop myself. You never met Lizzie, so don't talk like you know her. But I do know. There was no hesitation in Kamui's voice. You're right. I wasn't close with Lizzie, and I don't know her that well. But she was your best friend. And that's how I know. I like how we're just, instead of being like, yeah, we're just like, how the hell would you not? Like, that's exactly how grief and guilt, like you know what I mean? You're just going to snap at someone who's trying to help you. You're confiding in him and you're going to snap when he's trying, you know what I mean? That's exactly how grief works. She cared about you the same way you cared about me, her. Tell me, would she ever want you to be miserable? That's not... Welcome back. Uh-oh, you're grimacing again. I'm talking major forehead furrows. What? Do I? Nothing's bothering me, though. Well, you can turn that frown around. Let's go into town. See? I even made that rhyme. Let's get going. As I sifted through my memories, I saw how Lizzie always worried about me and tried to brighten my day. I'm sorry, And don't apologize. You don't have anything to be sorry for. But more importantly, I've been worried about how you bottle everything up. Kamui gently flicked my forehead. I stared at him, startled at this unexpected turn of events. He just looked down at me with a slight frown. If something's on your mind, you gotta let it out. It's like a muscle. You either use it or lose it. And if that happens, you won't feel anything anymore. You got that? Yeah. Though I was overwhelmed, Kamui's face broke out into a smile when he saw me agree. Like, I know we're gonna fall in love with this man and he's kind of already crushing on us and we haven't crushed on him yet. But, like, he's a good friend. And I like the fact that, like, we bonded, obviously, with him in his Sena form. But, like, now we're bonding before we fall in. Like, I like it. Well, I'm just telling you what my Gramps told me. He sounds like a wonderful person. Normally he's just a stubborn old codger with an insatiable sweet tooth, but, well, Gramps sure does love to make people happy. He's like me, but on steroids. He'll be a huge target for sure. Target? Gramps will do everything he can to make you smile. But then again, I'll pitch in as well. Whose side are you on? Gramps' side, of course. I want to see you smile, too. Kamui, you're so... Yes? I'm so... What? Never mind. I was just thinking that you keep saying things girls would like to hear. You think so? I was just saying what's on my mind, but if that makes you happy, then it's a win-win. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You're so unnecessarily optimistic. Oh, you flatter me. But check it out. We're almost there. Kamui walked ahead in high spirits, as if he might start humming a jaunty tune any minute. I felt a bit dizzy as I followed him. So he wants to see me smile. Are you finally getting clued in? Lizzie, I think I love you. I love you too! I'll always love you. I mumble that to myself while looking up at the sky. They cut it. The way this cuts off sometimes is awkward, but I don't hear any response, but I felt a cool breeze caress my cheek. Aww. See, like, the way we're dealing with, like, Lizzie being gone is very much, like, I like that. You know what I mean? Like, we get to see Kamui without his, like, jacket on, so you can see his little cardigan underneath. But you know what I mean? Like, we didn't get, but, like, it's more heartfelt you seeing how we react to not having her around anymore. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this part up here. I know we're a little under, but not too much. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.